Hello everyone and welcome to Fred Team K Gaming, and today we're taking a look at the 8.9 test server focusing on the new German TD line. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take a look at all of the new vehicles that will be added, and also there are going to be annotations at the end of the video which will lead to some gameplay featuring this monster, the Waffenträger E. But for now, let's go on with this one, the Marder 38T Tier 4 German tank destroyer. So this tank is kind of like the old Marder 2 before the major nerfing, only that it's a tier higher. We've got 270 hit points, 11 tons of weight, and a 180 horsepower engine, so it has decent mobility. Also the speed limit is quite high with 47 kilometers an hour. The hull traverse speed is also not bad with 24 degrees a second. The hull armor of course is pretty bad. We've got 50 on the front and 15 on the sides and rear. And with that, not much sloping going on here, so this is a paper tank. You're not going to be able to bounce anything with this. Fortunately though, it's a small machine, so it's easily possible to hide it in bushes or something, especially when you have a camouflage net fitted or camouflage crew skill and a camo pattern. So, it plays of course like a sniper. Again, it's much like the old Marder 2. It also has a very potent gun. We've got the 7.5cm Pz.Sfl L46 with 18.75 rate of fire, and that's very high. The reload time is like 3 seconds, so that's very fast. Also the penetration and damage are sufficient. We've got 108mm of penetration and 110 damage, so for tier 4 vehicle that's pretty good. Also the accuracy with 0.35 is pretty good, and we've got an excellent aiming time of 1.5 seconds. And what's also worth noting is that it has a very wide gun traverse angle. You can turn the gun like this and like this, so that's very good. That combined with the low aiming time, that can be a real beast. As for crew skills, camouflage could be very useful, and of course Sixth Sense is very important for almost all these machines because they have paper armor, and once they're spotted they're easy targets. So Sixth Sense and camouflage, also camo nets and camouflage patterns are very important for these machines. So on tier 5 we've got this thing, the Pz.Sfl 4C, and this thing has of course a terrible silhouette. It's a huge target. But let's have a look at its stats first. We've got 350 hit points, 26 tons and a 400 horsepower engine. So it is quite mobile. Also the speed limit is 60 kilometers an hour. So it's really not a slow vehicle despite looking that big. The traverse speed is also not that bad with 48 degrees a second. The hull armor of course is garbage. We've got a gun shield from the front, 20 millimeters. Probably this is a little bit more, but there's no sloping going on there, and 14 on the side and on the rear, so you're not going to bounce anything at all with this thing. So again, we've got paper armor, but we also get a very powerful gun this year, the 8.9cm Flak 41 L74. We've got 149 penetration, 240 average damage, 8 rounds a minute, good accuracy 0.32, and a decent aiming time. So very powerful gun, especially for tier 5. This gun is almost as good as this one, the 8.9cm Pak 43 L71 with 203 penetration. So it's a very good gun. Also the gun elevation is crazy. It's like a flag vehicle, so that means the elevation is like this, so you can almost shoot the planes on the airfield with this. Depression however is not that good. For equipment, of course camouflage, camo net, and a binocular telescope, because you really want to stay hidden with this. Sniping, of course, this is a very heavy sniper. Once this machine is detected, you're going to be dead, and so you really want to try to stay behind and stay hidden. Also a rammer could come in handy, or maybe even a spall liner, because this machine has a very large crew. As crew skills, Sixth Sense definitely very important. Also camouflage skill, because you really want to stay hidden and know when you're spotted. So next up is the Nashorn, and that's basically an AT Hummel on tier 6. It very much looks like one, it has the same chassis, and yeah, so we got 600 hit points, 24 tons of weight, a 300 horsepower engine, and a 40 kilometers an hour speed limit. And that's quite mobile. Not as mobile though as this one. We've got a little bit better power to weight ratio on this one, but still, it's mobile enough. And the traverse speed is also quite good with 36 degrees a second. The armor, of course, again, is garbage. We've got 30 on the front, 20 on the sides, and 20 on the rear. And that's not going to bounce anything, even with that sloping going on here. But in tier 6, 30mm are not going to bounce anything. But of course, the gun is again very powerful. We've got the 8.8cm Pz.Sfl 43 L71 with 203 average penetration, 240 average damage, almost 10 rounds a minute as rate of fire, good accuracy and a good aiming time. So the gun again is very potent. It's very much a sniper gun. So as equipment you really want to take a camouflage net with you and binocular telescope, and also you want to take some camouflage with you. As crew skills, definitely camouflage and sixth sense, because you really want to stay hidden and know instantly when you're spotted, because if you're spotted and don't move, you're going to be a very soft target with this, so that's going to be very important. Also a rammer could come in handy, or maybe a spall liner. The next one we get at tier 7 is the Sturer Emil, and this one is built on some VK chassis, it seems. Not exactly sure, but yeah, it has 850 hit points, weighs 36.5 tons, and only has a 310 horsepower engine. Also, the speed limit is quite low with 25 kilometers an hour. So this tank is really not fast. It's pretty slow, sluggish, so you really have to be sure where to drive and where to set this thing up. The traverse speed with 34 degrees a second is not that bad though. The hull armor again is pretty much crap. We've got 50 on the front, and that's not angled, and 30 on the sides and 30 on the rear. At tier 7, that's nothing, so don't rely on your armor. The armor on this is very weak. The gun, however, is again very good. We've got a 12.8cm Canone 40. Pretty low rate of fire, 4.35 rounds a minute. Good penetration, 231 and 490 average damage. So that's the same damage you're going to do in some tier 10 guns. Also, this thing has an amazing gun depression. The gun depression is like down right over this edge, like this, so that's very good and really helps when fighting over hills. Accuracy is also not bad, 0.36, and the aiming time is a bit high with 2.5 seconds. But still, this is a very powerful gun for tier 7. Also, it should be noted that the ammo supply is really not sufficient. It only has 15 rounds, so you really have to make every shot count. Also, it doesn't have premium ammunition, so that's not an option either. As for equipment, a tanker rammer could definitely come in handy. Also, again, a camouflage net and binoculars, because again, this is a sniper tank. You really want to stay hidden, know when you're spotted, stay hidden as much as you can, and fire from there. Again, crew skills, sixth sense and camouflage, very important. Next up on tier 8 is the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger. It has 1150 hit points, only weighs 19 tons, but unfortunately it only has a 207 horsepower engine, which means that although being very light, it's not that fast. The speed limit is 35 kilometers an hour, and it can be pretty sluggish under certain circumstances. The traverse speed, however, is again very good with 42 degrees a second. Hull armor, of course, garbage. 20 from the front, 10 from the sides and 8 from the rear. So it is quite nicely sloped, but again, with those kind of values in tier 8, you're not going to bounce anything. This time we can choose between two pretty good guns. On the one hand, we get the 12.8cm K44 L55, which has the same stats as your classical mouse gun. It has a little bit better accuracy, a 2.1 second aiming time, 5.77 rounds a minute, so its soft stats aren't that bad. And on the other hand, we get the 15cm Pz.Sfl L29.5, being a E100 gun with less penetration. Surely this isn't the best for tier 10 or above, but with gold ammo you actually get the same penetration you would have with the E100 gun, so with gold ammo it is quite usable. Accuracy, however, and aiming time being pretty bad, and it also has a very low rate of fire. So against tier 8 targets or using gold ammo, I think this gun can really work on this machine. On the other hand, this is surely the more versatile option. So my recommendation would be this one, simply because it's more versatile, and I also think that this vehicle should really be played as a sniper, and that's where this gun really comes in very handy compared to this one. So as far as equipment is concerned, I would go with camouflage net again and binocular telescope. Again, it's a sniper vehicle, you really want to take that. Also maybe a tank gun rammer, or maybe even a gun laying drive, but that only for the big gun if you really want to mount it. As for crew skills, definitely for the commander, sixth sense, very important for this sniper vehicle. Also camouflage, very important. You want to stay hidden, you want to know exactly when you're spotted, as with almost all of these vehicles, so these crew skills are the most important. And that beauty leads to this one, the Waffenträger of Pz.Sfl. This machine, being built on the Panzer IV, has 1600 hit points, weighs 25 tons and has a 400 horsepower engine, so it's way more mobile than those two previous ones over here. Speed limit, although, is not that high, only 38 kilometers an hour. Traverse speed is pretty good with 40 degrees a second. Hull armor is a little bit better than what the previous ones had, but in tier 9, 80mm non-sloped armor is still garbage. So 30 on the side, 20 on the rear, and a very thin gun shield. Those are not going to help you to bounce anything, so again, don't rely on your armor. This time we actually get to choose from 4 tier 10 guns. We've got the 2 guns from the previous one, the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger, and we've got the Jagdtiger gun and the E100 gun. This one, the Jagdtiger gun, having nice penetration, 276, 450 average damage, good accuracy, good aiming time, and quite a high rate of fire. So again, a very versatile sniper gun. This gun, of course, the E100 gun, was 235 average penetration, relying on its gold ammo, having a little bit better accuracy, a better aiming time, a little bit better rate of fire, but still, if you want to fight anything in tier 9 or 10, you need those gold shells. So again, I would definitely recommend this one. As for equipment, you need a camouflage net, a camo pattern, also a binocular telescope again, pretty much the same as for every tank on this line. Spoiler could come in handy, and a tank gun rammer. Maybe also an enhanced gun laying drive for that 150mm gun if you really want to mount it and play with gold ammo. As for crew skills, again the same, camouflage, very important, sixth sense, also very important. This is a pure sniper tank. You're not going to survive any hits in this in tier 9, so definitely those are the most important skills. And finally, of course, we got this beauty, the Waffenträger of E100. This has a very powerful gun, but let's have a look at its stats first. We've got 2200 hit points, that's the same as the Jagdpanzer E100 has, so no difference here. But this thing only weighs 100 tons and has the same 1200 horsepower engine as the E100 gets, so it is surprisingly mobile. It does 40 kilometers an hour, and that's not a theoretical top speed, so it can really reach that quite easily. So for one E100 chassis, this is surprisingly mobile. Also, the traverse speed with 30 degrees a second is not that bad. The hull armor is not that bad actually. Of course, this one being the 200mm upper front plate of the classical E100. This is only 150mm thick, so your classical weak spot. Your sides are actually 120mm thick, so you can do some side scraping. Notice that you don't have any skirts like the other E100s have. This one doesn't. And the back is 150mm thick. The only problem with that armor is that no one is going to shoot at it, because this thing is only 20mm thick. 10 on the sides and 8 on the rear. So no one is going to shoot at this or even at this, because they are all going to shoot here, they're going to pen you, they're going to overmatch the armor, they're going to do full damage even with HE shells. So once this thing is spotted, it is pretty much dead, because everyone is going to focus fire on this, and it's just not going to survive. So don't even bother playing any offensive tactics with it. It's also worth noting that this vehicle has 420 meters of view range. That's actually the highest view range in the game. The M48 Patton also has 420 meters, so those two vehicles have the highest view range in the game. Now let's get to the good stuff, the guns. We've got again 2 available. One being an auto-loaded Jagdtiger gun with 6 shells in the magazine, a 2-second shell loading time and a 60-second drum reloading time. So this thing with high penetration, high damage, the best accuracy in the game, 0.29, a very good aiming time, is absolutely devastating. Especially when used as a sniper at range, you can kill a mouse in 10 seconds with this. Absolutely amazing. Your second option, of course, is an auto-loaded E100 gun. That one has only 4 shells in the magazine, a 3-second shell loading time, and a 50-second drum loading time. Of course, again, low penetration, so it really relies on gold ammo. The accuracy is not that bad, 0.34, and the aiming time is also pretty good. So if you want to shoot gold shells, you can try this one, but I definitely wouldn't go for it. My recommendation definitely is this one, as It has a higher average clip damage, it has higher penetration, fires faster, so this gun is really awesome. This one not so much, especially not when used as a sniper. So as equipment, you definitely need camouflage again and binoculars. Also definitely camouflage patterns, winter, desert and summer. That's definitely very important to stay as concealed as possible, so that's very important. Also, a super heavy spore liner would be very useful because you've got 50% to protection of the crew from injuries, and that is really necessary because 4 of your 6-man crew are sitting right behind that gun shield, and everyone is going to pen that even with HE, so you're going to have a lot of dead crew members. But that's why I would really recommend spore liner on this machine. Also, this time actually a large first aid kit. I'm usually not a fan of those, but on this vehicle it would definitely come in handy as you're going to have crew injuries nonetheless. As for crew skills, definitely Sixth Sense and Camouflage, those are the most important skills for the whole TD line. If you want to see some gameplay examples of this beast, right at the end of the video and at the beginning of the video also, there will be popping up annotations leading to a gameplay example of this machine. So if you want to see some live action with this, go check that out. So what can we say in conclusion about this new TD line? Well, it's definitely a glass cannon line. Most of these vehicles are decently mobile, have powerful guns for their tiers, and very little to no armor. To be honest, I'm probably going to go down that line, because this beast with this burst is just... no, not this one. With this burst, with the stock gun, is just absolutely amazing. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave your feedback, leave your likes, shares and whatever you can do down there. Also, if you want to see more in the future, be sure to subscribe, and I will definitely see you on the next video.